Women in ancient Egypt often had more rights and opportunities compared to women in other contemporary cultures. They could own and inherit property, initiate divorce, and even hold positions of power, such as being pharaoh. Some famous female pharaohs like Hatshepsut and Cleopatra are well-known examples of women who wielded significant authority in ancient Egypt. The secret role of women in ancient Egypt is a captivating aspect of history that often goes unnoticed or underappreciated. Despite the male-centric narratives that dominate many historical accounts, women in ancient Egypt played crucial roles in various aspects of society, from religious practices to political affairs. It's essential to shed light on their contributions for several reasons. First, it helps correct the historical record and dispel misconceptions about the status and role of women in ancient societies. By highlighting their achievements, we can challenge the idea that women were always marginalized or passive participants in history. Understanding the significant roles women played in ancient Egypt can provide valuable insights into gender dynamics and societal structures of the time. It allows us to appreciate the complexity and diversity of ancient Egyptian society and how roles were constructed and negotiated. Recognizing the contributions of women in ancient Egypt is a matter of historical justice. It honors the legacy of those who shaped their society and helps us appreciate the richness of human history from a more inclusive perspective. Ancient Egyptian society was complex and hierarchical, with a well-defined social structure that influenced the roles and responsibilities of both men and women. The society was patriarchal, meaning that men held primary positions of power and authority, but women still had significant rights and opportunities compared to some other ancient civilizations. Men in ancient Egypt were typically responsible for roles such as political leadership, religious leadership, and manual labor. They often held positions in government, served in the military, or worked as craftsmen or farmers. Men were also the primary breadwinners in the family, responsible for providing for their households. Women in ancient Egypt, while not equal to men in terms of legal rights and status, still had more rights and opportunities than in many other ancient societies. They could own property, run businesses, and even serve as priests or priestesses in temples. Women were also responsible for managing the household and raising children, which was seen as a crucial role in society. Despite these differences in roles, both men and women in ancient Egypt were expected to contribute to the well-being of their society. They participated in religious rituals, honored their ancestors, and worked together to ensure the prosperity of their communities. The roles of men and women were complementary, each contributing in their own way to the functioning of society. There are some women who were influential in ancient Egypt. Cleopatra VII is perhaps the most famous female ruler of ancient Egypt. She was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, ruling from 51 BC to 30 BC. Cleopatra is known for her intelligence, charisma, and political acumen. She famously formed relationships with Julius Caesar and later Mark Antony, alliances that helped her maintain power in Egypt. Cleopatra's reign ended with her death by suicide, following Antony's defeat by Octavian, later Augustus, in the Battle of Actium. Nefertiti was the great royal wife of Akhenaten, an Egyptian pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. She is known for her beauty and her prominent role in the religious reforms of her husband. Nefertiti and Akhenaten promoted the worship of the sun god Aten over the traditional Egyptian gods, a significant departure from previous religious practices. Nefertiti's iconic bust, discovered in 1912, has made her one of the most recognizable figures of ancient Egypt. Hatshepsut was one of the most successful pharaohs of ancient Egypt, ruling as a regent for her stepson Thutmose III from around 1479 BC to 1458 BC. She eventually declared herself pharaoh, a move that was highly unusual for a woman at the time. Hatshepsut is known for her ambitious building projects, including the mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari and her successful trade expeditions to the land of Punt. Despite efforts to erase her legacy after her death, Hatshepsut is now celebrated as one of ancient Egypt's most remarkable rulers. Joseph's wife is mentioned briefly in the Bible, specifically in the book of Genesis. Her name is Asenath, and she is described as the daughter of Potipharah, a priest of On, Heliopolis. Asenath is noted for her beauty, and she becomes the wife of Joseph, who had risen to prominence in Egypt after being sold into slavery by his brothers. The Bible does not provide extensive details about Asenath or her relationship with Joseph. However, it does mention that she bore Joseph two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, who would go on to become the patriarchs of 2 of the 12 tribes of Israel. Asenath's story is significant in the context of Joseph's life because it represents his integration into Egyptian society and his acceptance by the Egyptian elite. The union of Joseph, a Hebrew, with Asenath, an Egyptian, also symbolizes the reconciliation and assimilation of the Israelites into Egyptian culture during their time in Egypt. Women in ancient Egypt faced a variety of challenges and conflicts, shaped by the societal norms and power structures of the time. While women in Egypt had more rights and opportunities compared to some other ancient societies, they still encountered limitations and obstacles in various aspects of their lives. Legal and social status. Women in ancient Egypt were generally considered legal equals to men in terms of property rights and legal standing. However, there were societal expectations and norms that limited their autonomy. Women were often expected to fulfill traditional roles as wives and mothers, and their societal status was often tied to their relationship with men, such as fathers or husbands. Marriage and family life. Marriage was an important institution in ancient Egypt, and women were expected to marry and bear children. While women had the right to divorce and could own property independently, their ability to do so was often influenced by societal norms and family expectations. Women who did not marry or have children might have faced social stigma or pressure. Religious and political influence. Women in ancient Egypt had opportunities for religious and political influence, especially in roles such as priestesses or as wives of pharaohs. However, these opportunities were often limited to women of high social status or royal lineage. Ordinary women may have had fewer opportunities for such roles. Power struggles. Like in many societies, power struggles could also impact women in ancient Egypt. For example, royal women such as queens or princesses might have faced challenges from rival factions within the royal court or from ambitious relatives seeking to consolidate power. Social mobility. While women in ancient Egypt could achieve positions of influence and authority, especially in religious roles, there were still limitations based on their social status and family background. Women from lower social classes or non-royal families may have had fewer opportunities for social mobility compared to women from elite backgrounds. Overall, while women in ancient Egypt had more rights and opportunities compared to some other ancient societies, they still faced challenges and limitations shaped by the societal norms and power structures of their time. Despite the challenges they faced, some women in ancient Egypt were able to overcome societal norms and leave a lasting impact on Egyptian history. These women often achieved prominence through their intelligence, charisma, and determination, and they used their positions to enact change and shape the course of Egyptian history. Hatshepsut. One of the most remarkable examples is Hatshepsut, who ruled as pharaoh in her own right, breaking with tradition and asserting her authority despite the male-dominated society. She is known for her ambitious building projects and successful trade expeditions, leaving a lasting legacy as one of ancient Egypt's most successful rulers. Cleopatra. Cleopatra VII is another notable figure who overcame challenges to assert her authority. As the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, Cleopatra formed alliances with influential Romans, including Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, to maintain her power. Her intelligence and political acumen allowed her to navigate the complex political landscape of the time and leave a lasting impact on Egyptian and Roman history. Merit Pitar is believed to be the first female physician known by name in history. She lived during the reign of Pharaoh Djoser in the 27th century BC and is mentioned in inscriptions in her son's tomb, where she is described as the chief physician. Her role as a physician indicates that she was highly respected and achieved a level of expertise that was remarkable for her time. Ahotep I was an Egyptian queen who lived during the 16th century BC during the early 18th dynasty. She played a significant role in the expulsion of the Hyksos, who had invaded and occupied Egypt. Ahotep I was awarded the Gold of Honor for her bravery, and her contributions to the military efforts were commemorated in inscriptions and artifacts. These women, among others, overcame the challenges of their time to leave a lasting impact on Egyptian history. Their achievements serve as a reminder of the important roles that women played in shaping ancient Egyptian society and history. I encourage you to explore further resources on women in ancient Egypt and other ancient civilizations to deepen your understanding of this fascinating topic. Please like and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel